This is MJ. I'm an author, I'm an artist, I'm an analyzer. Find all my work at mjmunoz.com. Prepare yourself for some off-the-cuff book talk as I tackle another middle-grade book chapter by chapter. This is MJ. Thank you for joining me for my chapter by chapter analysis or review of Maniac Magee by Spinelli. Can't remember if it's Jerry or Jeffrey. Sorry, I'll have to check next time. Not an author I'm familiar with. In fact, an author I've never heard of before. In fact, I think this is a book I've never heard of before either, until I put it onto this list to read a bunch of middle grade stuff. So I heavily criticized chapter 1, or the introduction, I should say. This is chapter 1, and it's less worthy of criticism. It's a little more normal. It has more of a structure. It's still kind of ridiculous. I kind of feel like the book is talking down to kids because it expects them to believe that one day this kid who becomes Maniac Magee, Jeffrey, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, his parents die. He's orphaned. He lives with his aunt and Uncle Dan and Aunt Dot for 8 years. And over the course of those 8 years, from the time he's 3 to the time he's 11, the two of them never talk to each other, because they hate each other and they're always apart from each other. I don't know if they actually yell and fight. I don't know if they actually fight with each other and yell, but they are segregated. They're living separate but equal lives. And they would even have 2 of him if they could have. And there's a school play that he goes to, and they have to share the auditorium because there's not 2 auditoriums at the school. So the idea is that they're stuck there together, and he starts screaming from the stage like the whole time the performance is going on, I guess, or as soon as the performance starts, because there's, one of them is seated here and one of them is seated here, and he's in the middle here on stage, and he's screaming, talk, why don't the 2 of you just talk? And then he runs out of the gym, out of the auditorium, and then he keeps on running, and then that's about it. So I don't know, it seems a little ridiculous, it seems a little far-fetched. I can see, and probably it's because I'm not a little kid reading this, I can see that this separate but equal family life that he was having, this house divided against itself, which cannot stand. That was my Abraham Lincoln, by the way, if you didn't know. Like, it's already hitting the imagery of racism and like the Civil War and segregation and separation of society. And I think it's doing it fairly intelligently, but it's also very simple and straightforward and very clear. And, that stuff's not bad, but kind of to me, it still feels kind of insulting to the intelligence of kids reading this, that this kid would have run, and never stopped running. Like I said before, it just, I don't know, it seems kind of silly. And, I guess this was the only way to make the book work. I'm not sure. I don't find it very compelling. It was a very short chapter, and I am intrigued to go on and see what happens next, but I'm also committing myself to reading this entire book. So I don't think that is a big compliment to the book so far. So overall, I'm still negative on this book. Had I been reading this before Peter Pan, I don't think we'd have chapter by chapter right now. Because I will remind you, if you don't know, then now I'm telling you, that I stopped reading Peter Pan or listening to Peter Pan in chapter 4, and I went back and restarted it because it was that good. I had to cover it chapter by chapter, and every chapter I was pretty excited to talk about something. There were multiple things I could have talked about, and honestly, here I'm kind of struggling to talk about something solid and cogent and that caught my attention. Yeah, him screaming, why don't you talk? And then him leaving and never to return to the House of 2 Toasters. That's the most compelling thing from this short chapter. These chapters are much shorter than the Peter Pan chapter so far. The last one, the intro was like 2 minutes, and this chapter was 3 and change. And the Peter Pan chapters were like 10 minutes, and each of those had a lot more interesting stuff in it. Probably due to the length. I'll give the benefit of the doubt and just say it's because they were longer. They had more time to build up something momentous and to build up something that I would be interested in keeping in my mind. So I'd like to know what you are thinking about this book so far. If you like it better than me, if you've liked it from the start, if that introduction really got you, or if you, like me, felt it left something to be desired. And also, if you've already read this book, you read it in school, or you read it as a kid, or you read it as an adult, whatever, before getting this to, finding this video, and me who's never read this book before, I would love to hear your input on it and your thoughts, and why you like the book or don't like the book, and its merits and demerits. I'd appreciate that. I hope you enjoyed that. Please remember to like, share, subscribe. I invite you to comment, ask questions, and share your thoughts with me. It's always more fun when you're part of the conversation. Until next time, keep reading, be well, and do good things. Visit mjmunoz.com for more of my work and help me build up the Fortress Fiction.